The date is January 13th, 2026, and that date takes us right back to the center of the universe in Ashland, Virginia. Have you ever gone railfanning for 12 hours in a single day? Well, it doesn't happen with me often, but today was one of those days where I got there when it was still dark and left when it was dark. And why's that? Just one day earlier, I got a heads up on a Facebook group I'm in about CSX M410 coming my way with a pair of CP units at the head end. And the cherry on top, a KCSM mid-DPU. His journey into the Old Dominion from North Carolina was made overnight, and I got out of bed at 6 a.m. to make this catch, right around the same time when M410's outbound crew at ACA went on duty. I arrived at Ashland not long before the routine station stop of Amtrak P086, the northbound Northeast Regional. This train is already 2 hours into its 12-hour trip from Newport News, Virginia to Boston, Massachusetts.
Defect. Total axle 3/6 ends of transmission.
Attention please. This is a boarding call for Amtrak Northeast Regional Train 86 arriving on Track 2 en route to Boston South Station, with intermediate stops at Fredericksburg, Quantico, Woodbridge, Alexandria, Washington Union Station, New Carrollton, BWI Airport, Baltimore, Wilmington, Philadelphia, 30th Street, Trenton, Metro Park, Newark, New Jersey, New York Penn Station, Stamford, Bridgeport, New Haven, New London, Kingston, Providence, Route 128, Boston Back Bay. Passengers should proceed to Track 2. Thank you for choosing Amtrak.
Conductor heading, cruise up and in the clear in the rear, we can depart Ashland, delete the block over. Say, depart Ashland with a clear here, and full Ashland section.
After 86 had set off, I got a heads up that M410 with the CP power had gotten his signal indication to set off onto the RF&P sub. But what I didn't already know was that CSX I135 had gotten his signal indication first. I-135 today has a duo of AC 4400 CWs. What might have seemed trivial a few years earlier, the AC 4400s are sadly now a dying breed, as many of them have been rebuilt into CM44s. This train originated in Suffolk, Virginia, and is en route to Chicago. The train we came for finally comes into sight. And another one, too. M410, a quality manifest running from Waycross, Georgia to Selkirk, New York, rolls through Ashland with a bit of Canadian bacon to start off the morning. The leader, CP number 8132, was built in 1997 as AC 4400 CW number 9643 and was rebuilt into AC 4400 CWM in 2018. While M410 comes up on track 2, the northbound track, Amtrak P052, the northbound auto train running from Sanford, Florida to Lorton, Virginia, races alongside on track number 3. And for those who are new here, there actually is no track 1. I mean, there is, but it's actually just a siding right outside Staples Mill Road Amtrak station. I was really getting worried for a moment that 52 was going to block our Canadian visitors from sight. Thankfully, that didn't happen. However,
attention, please. Please secure all personal belongings. Unattended items will be confiscated. TSA regulations require Amtrak to undertake random ID checks on board trains. Be aware of the moving vehicles and monitor your children closely. If you observe suspicious activity or unattended items, please notify Amtrak Police or call 1-800-331-0008. If you see something, say something.
Oh, we got another one.
Amtrak 3, pitch 4 north, 3 tracks, clear, line close.
as the superliners were just casually rolling on by. Okay, so you know that sound of mid-train DPU like a GEVO makes when it just rumbles on by you? And there was no mistaking it. Our KCSM DPU was heard, but not seen.
Son of a bitch!
So now what? Well, I was deliberating in my mind about whether I should try to chase M410 North to have our chance at redemption. You know, to catch the KCS in an unobstructed scene. And I decided to take that chance because, well, I'd have nothing to lose if I at least tried, right? I hopped into my car and hurried along I-95, which thank God it wasn't too busy that day. And I was able to intercept him at Guinea at the entrance of Stonewall Jackson's death site. In 1863, Confederate General Thomas Stonewall Jackson was accidentally shot by one of his own troops at the Battle of Chancellorsville, northwest of Guinea. This area here was once a field hospital for Confederate soldiers, and Jackson was taken there before he ultimately passed away. Within a few minutes of arriving in Guinea, I heard the Canadian horn and knew right off the bat who it was. And here, we have successfully captured the KCSM.
Yes! Yes!
On the way back, I briefly stopped at a Flying J truck stop in Ruther Glen, Virginia, to grab some breakfast as well as a hot chocolate. On an interesting note, Exit 104 in Ruther Glen has 2 Flying J truck stops. Yes, that's right, not 1, but 2. The one on the northbound side has a Golden Corral restaurant, and the one on the southbound side has a Denny's. I just settled for a cup of oatmeal. I was thinking about going home after M410 passed because I had already gotten what I came out for, but it was then when I was bit by the I gotta catch more trains bug. So, it was back to Ashland for me. Our first train after returning to Ashland is M410 headed north. M418 runs from Rocky Mount, North Carolina to Selkirk, New York, and it can be distinguished by the green trash containers it usually interchanges with Norfolk Southern at Collier Yard in Petersburg, Virginia. And I can only apologize for that sun glare we got in the way.
Boston South Station, with intermediate stops at Fredericksburg, Quantico, Alexandria, Washington Union Station, New Carrollton, BWI Airport, Baltimore, Wilmington, Philadelphia, 30th Street, Newark Airport, Newark, New Jersey, New York Penn Station, New Rochelle, Stamford, Bridgeport, New Haven, Old Saybrook, New London, Kingston, Providence, Route 128, Boston Back Bay. Passengers should proceed to track 2. Thank you for choosing Amtrak.
I included the boarding announcement for Amtrak P094 because, honestly, those are fun to listen to. Amtrak P094 arrives and departs Ashland. This train runs between Norfolk, Virginia, and South Station in Boston, Massachusetts. After it departs Ashland, CSX M407, a manifest running from Cumberland, Maryland to Waycross, Georgia, comes south. The leader of M407 was built in 2002 as AC 4400 number 5108. It was rebuilt into a CM44AH in 2022.
This working complete. Working before Ashland. Yeah.
Amtrak 94 departing Ashland, number 2, clear north Ashland.
M410 North, Falcon on route, Google, Western, C6 laid out. Amtrak train look good, I'll burn on the rear.
Thank you, I'll let you know.
tempted to call it a day again, but then, as fate would have it, I yet again felt the urge to stay longer. On the way back to Ashland again, we ride by the VFW building off Cedar Lane in Elmont, just one community to the south. Visible right out here from the road is an M60 Patton tank, which were used in the Vietnam War, as well as an MK46 Naval Torpedo, and what appears to be a Cold War rocket launcher of some sort. As we arrived back in Ashland, CSX M409 came south, running 1X1. This train is the southbound counterpart to our friend M410 earlier with the Foreign Power. M409 runs from Selkirk, New York to Waycross, Georgia. Back at the station, we catch Amtrak P089 southbound, running from New York City to Savannah, Georgia. About 10 minutes later, Amtrak P079, the southbound Carolinian running from New York City to Charlotte, North Carolina, follows behind. Normally, it would be a couple of hours between the southbound Palmetto and the Carolinian. However, with an ongoing track work project going on near Long Bridge Park in Northern Virginia, some of the train schedules have been clustered a little bit.
What an odd clustered train schedule!
Our next train was I031 southbound, the hotshot intermodal and Tropicana orange juice combo, running from North Bergen, New Jersey to Jacksonville, Florida. The lead unit was built in 2002 as AC 4400 number 550, and it was one of the last AC 4400s delivered to CSX to be wearing the Bright Future paint scheme. It was rebuilt to CM410 number 7420 by early 2025. The second unit, number 5233, is James in my Rails of Highland Valley series, for those who have seen it. It wasn't until this catch when I found out that he's been repainted into the YN3C paint scheme. Do engines in certain series love or hate being repainted? My answer? It could all depend on the situation and how he or she wants to view it. It's quite possible that being repainted into the YN3C scheme could be a little reward for James for protecting his friends so much. Unfortunately, this would end up being our last freight train for the day. It would be all Amtraks from here on out. Next is Amtrak P080, the northbound Carolinian running from Charlotte, North Carolina to New York City with a Phase 6 charger. Phase 6 chargers look almost identical to the Phase 7 ones, except with a shorter stripe.
Amtrak limits passengers to one personal item and 2 carry-on bags. Carry-on bags must not exceed 50 pounds, and personal items must not exceed 25 pounds. Baggage exceeding this limit will not be accepted on board Amtrak trains. Attention please. An update for Amtrak Northeast Regional Train 138. This train is now expected at 3:25 p.m. on Track 2.
I missed most of it, but I caught part of the boarding announcement for Amtrak P138, a northbound Northeast Regional running from Norfolk, Virginia to New York Penn Station in New York City.
En route to New York Penn Station, with intermediate stops at Fredericksburg, Quantico, Woodbridge, Alexandria, Washington Union Station, New Carrollton, BWI Airport, Baltimore, Aberdeen, Wilmington, Philadelphia, 30th Street, Trenton, Princeton Junction, New Brunswick, Metro Park, Newark, New Jersey. Passengers should proceed to Track 2. Thank you for choosing Amtrak.
Next, we caught Amtrak P092, or P040, whichever one you want to call it, the northbound Floridian running a long distance between Miami, Florida, and Chicago, Illinois. Amtrak P095, the southbound Northeast Regional from Boston, Massachusetts going to Norfolk, Virginia, runs by Ashland non-stop. A few years back, 95 always stopped here in Ashland. Not anymore. This would actually be our first catch of a P42 DC of the day. Perhaps it's a foreshadowing of things yet to come?
No! God! No! God, please, no! No!
I've also thrown in a short clip of the locomotive blowing its horn distantly for Ashcake Road. As the dusk colors cover the sky, Amtrak P090, the northbound Palmetto making its way toward New York City from Savannah, Georgia, cuts right through the center of the universe. Our next two trains were caught up in a meet that was timed just perfectly enough. First, we'll see Amtrak P186, the northbound Northeast Regional running from Newport News, Virginia to Philadelphia, PA, arriving in Ashland. Just as he is departing for his next stop in Fredericksburg, Amtrak P053, the southbound auto train running from Lorton, Virginia to Sanford, Florida, makes its way through town. 53 has a very welcome surprise third out. They've got a Dash 8 in tow. This does happen occasionally, depending on where the auto train switchers are needed, but it's still always a welcome sight for sure. I also met another rail fan here before the two trains arrived, but I didn't catch his name before we parted ways.
Call for Amtrak Northeast Regional Train 186 arriving on track 2 en route to Philadelphia, 30th Street, with intermediate stops at Fredericksburg, Quantico, Woodbridge, Alexandria, Washington Union Station, PWI Airport, Baltimore, Wilmington. Passengers should proceed to track 2. Thank you for choosing Amtrak.
Track 186 North, clear, Elmont, 136. Track 53 with a 358, no defects, clear, Allen. South on 30.
Amtrak Northeast Regional Train 186 en route to Philadelphia, 30th Street, with intermediate stops. Passengers should proceed to track 2. Thank you for choosing Amtrak.
Attention all passengers at the Ashland station. For your safety, please be advised that the auto train will be coming through on track 3 and 186 will be coming through on track 2. Please stay back on the tracks for your safety.
What? But that wasn't a big deal. I didn't need to drive. You just had to take your luggage and cross over.
53 with 358,
I didn't need to drive.
clear North Dash, south on 30.
Can I take the mic?
Highway 6, let me get 3 cars, 3.
Train on the other track.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Amtrak 186, replete corner
Yep.
track, signal indication.
186 North, departing Ashland, got a clear North Ashland on 2.
Clear. Clear line for south on 30.
We conclude our day with the passage of Amtrak P091 or P041, the southbound Floridian on its way from Chicago to Miami, Florida. He once again has an extra ampli behind the baggage car on the rear for some reason. It was after 6 p.m. when this train came by, marking 12 hours of me being trackside in the course of a single day. Okay, you heard him blow his horn not too long ago as he went over England Street. It wasn't because the engineer saw me waving, but I didn't have a chance to turn my camera around in time because I'd only just glanced over my shoulder, but he was blowing the horn because there were a few people that were crossing the tracks at almost the last second. Kind of scary, but thank the Lord it didn't end in tragedy. Before we leave town for the day to go home, I decided to grab a quick shot of C&O Caboose 9842, displayed by the Ashland Museum. A little wooden caboose that, between the 1920s and about 1974, humbly brought up the rear of freight trains for years, was found in a field in 1997, still wearing its faded chassis system paint, where it was cosmetically restored, and it now sits as a historic artifact in this little railroad town. I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.